Hi. So we are three of the Open University Student Association student trustees, and we're here on the Open University campus. Just come out of a trustee meeting, and we're going to talk a little bit about what it means to be a trustee, what is a trustee, what we've got out of the experience. So we'll go introductions first. I'm Andrew Cook, a student trustee.
I'm Peter Bell, another student trustee.
And I'm Melanie Philpott, another student trustee.
There we go, introductions. Beyond that, I think the most important thing is let's define what a trustee is. Anyone want to field that one?
Peter's got the good answer for this one.
Go on, Peter.
So the trustees, most of the trustees are elected by the student body. We've got a couple of external trustees who are appointed, and between us, the trustees are the people that are responsible overall for the association. We're legally responsible for the association. So our focus is very much on the financial side, making sure we live within our means.
Yep.
The association employs quite a number of staff, and so we're responsible as the employers of those staff.
Yep.
And we're responsible for making sure whatever the association does complies with the rules and regulations. We stay legal.
Yeah.
And we're involved in helping set strategy and approving the strategy that the association has developed. But we work closely with another group of students who are the CEC, the Central Executive Committee, who are responsible for setting the policy of the association.
Yeah.
And our job really is to just review and make sure that we're legal.
That's it.
And we do eat a lot of biscuits as well in our meetings. That's a very important responsibility as far as I'm concerned.
Loves the biscuits.
Yes, I do.
So if I was to ask you what skills you've learned and developed, if you had to pick your top one.
Well, I've really enhanced my biscuit eating, I think. That's
Excellent.
Let me explain. In the trustee meetings, we get a massive plate of biscuits. Obviously, that shouldn't be a selling point for taking part, but it does help. But I've learned quite a lot of professional skills. I've certainly learned how a meeting should be chaired professionally, and there's a lot of reading, so I've learned to speed read very well.
Yeah, I'd go for the speed reading. There is a lot of reading to do, a lot of information to take in, and finding a way that you're actually going to retain it can be quite a challenge. That's something that I've had to adapt the way that I would go through papers, things in advance, to actually keep the information present so that I can use it. I've also learned a lot around possibly like changing the way I would put my point across, because it's all well and good, you know, once I've committed in my mind that this is the right way to go, whatever it be, doesn't mean everyone else agrees. So you either have to be strong enough to stand there and say, look, even if you all disagree, I've got courage and conviction, I believe this is the right way to go, and try and win people around. You may just have to accept that no matter how strongly you believe that what you want to do, what you think you should be done is the right thing, it's not going to happen. You have to professionally accept that, move on and move with the group. So it's quite an interesting, very character building experience, I would say.
Yeah, and I'd say on the back of that, you always have to have in the back of your mind what's the best thing for the association and the association's future, and what you might be thinking is the best way actually may not be in line with that. So you have to be able to listen to other people's views and really consider every single perspective and take it all on board.
It's when you build that collaborative team that I think we've got to that. We're certainly at that point now as this current board. We can collaborate, we can understand that I may think one thing, you think another, you think a third, but actually if you find some kind of middle ground between the three ideas, you actually have a workable, practicable route forward.
What have you learned then, Peter?
Well, I think it's that constructive challenge, isn't it? And learning to do that, not in a negative way, but in a positive way. So that to welcome challenge, to get so that your views actually sometimes help you develop your convictions. Is to have to explain to somebody else who doesn't always see things the same way why you think what you think, and sometimes that will change your view. And that's been quite good to learn how to do that. I suppose the other thing is getting used as well, because quite a bit of work happens on the forums in between meetings, and to learn to engage with that and make sure as well that you're able to communicate by in that way, which I found that difficult to start with, but actually it's a skill you can learn. So now if I go onto an online forum, I'm quite happy to think carefully about what I write, because first of all you're committing it to writing, you know, and lots of people will see it. So think more carefully about how you express yourself, how you're respectful of others, because sometimes you can write things which you think are fine, but when you actually turn around and look and say, if I was receiving that, how would it sound? And is it actually getting my point across in the way I want it to be? So that's been a really good skill to learn and to be challenged on when you don't get it right, because you don't always get things right. I suppose the nice thing for me as well is that the support we had, the induction, the handover weekend, the training, and then the ongoing support from the staff, particularly the team that support the board meetings, has been really excellent in helping you to get through that and actually to always keep focused on what we should be doing. So that's been really a very positive thing.
And we've also got to take part in something like this. Now, this morning I didn't know we were going to do this today.
No, we found this out like 3 hours ago.
Yeah. We thought we'd got away with not having to do it, but then we realised we didn't get away with it at all, and here we are, completely unprepared. So.
But that's how you'll enter a trustee meeting a lot of times. Yeah, you get papers ahead of time, but you don't know what the views of the other trustees are going to be necessarily. Sometimes you get papers very short notice. Sometimes something happened last night, and you still need to just kind of go in and tackle
You've got to be
whatever that
flexible,
is. You have to be massively agile. Massively.
I think the other thing is that different trustees contribute in different ways according to their, the skills they've got and also the time they've got available. So it can take up quite a lot of time if you undertake to do lots of things. So it's not strictly just coming up here 4 times a year to have a meeting.
That's a really good point, Peter.
There's a lot more around it, and in fact you can get involved quite deeply in things. But also we have to remember that. Our responsibilities in a particular area for a particular, so we're trying to make sure things are legal, finances are looked after, the risks are monitored, which is one particular aspect. And there's another group, which is the CEC, stands for Central Executive Committee, which is really the main body driving policy within the Students' Association, and working with the CEC to enable them to be able to do their role, so that they can get on and do their work, which is the important policy setting work and driving what the association does, and us to sit down and be enablers of that, and occasionally maybe just to say, well, hang on a second, that has got a legal, that's got a financial or a risk implication. And I think as well that's developed where we now have observers from CEC who are more than observers now, aren't they? They participate in the meeting.
We should explain what that is. So an observer is someone who's come from CEC, who's come to one of our meetings just to see what happens, get involved, ask questions, get really involved in the conversation. And we also, trustees also are allowed to go and observe CEC meetings as well, so it's a real cross-collaboration. It makes a real difference, I think.
I went and viewed and took part in a CEC meeting this time last year, and it was an incredibly valuable thing to go and do, to see exactly what challenges they were facing, what they were trying to push through, what they wanted to happen, and to see the excitement and the enthusiasm that goes into what they're putting together. And then it gives you a new sense of what you're doing as a trustee when you see that proposal come into a trustee meeting and asks, and actually, you know what, if there's a little bit missing, it's harder than at that point almost to kind of say, actually, you know what, as brilliant as it is, that needs to go back and just be edited slightly because there's a legal implication or financial or whatever it be. And yet you have to learn. We've had to learn, I think all of us probably, when to say no and how to say no, because you get met with these brilliant ideas that you'd love to say yes to all of them, but we don't have infinity billion pounds to do them all. So you have to say no. The finance only goes so far, and you pick what you hope is going to be the best thing, what shows most potential merit for the association going forward.
And also there's lots of biscuits at CC weekends.
It's not all spent on biscuits, I swear to God.
No, it's not.
If I was to ask you, I'm going to put you both really on the spot. How many times over the last 2 years do you think you've been down to campus?
I don't know.
And how long, on average, would you say the meetings have been?
As a trustee?
As a trustee, yeah. I know you do like 16 other things, so try and put them to the side.
Over the last 2 years?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. We have, 4 meetings?
Well, there's 4 scheduled, but how many have we actually had? Because the one that we've been on today was scheduled at the last meeting, so this is extra, so this is at least number 5 for this year.
I've probably been 12 or 14 times
Yeah,
to
because
hear,
there's
including a couple of weekends.
Yeah.
But then, of course,
but it's not all on site, is it? It's, you know, if we do selection for recruitment panels,
we can do that
I've done it
remotely.
on Skype.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, each meeting is scheduled to be 4 to 5 hours. It can quite often hit 6 hours, which
they are quite long, our
they
meetings.
can
with
be, yeah.
We need biscuits.
Seriously, with the biscuits. So yeah, you know, these meetings can be quite long, and you know what? They take a lot of concentration, a lot of thought, and you've done all that pre-reading. I mean, for myself, I drive down from Manchester for each one. We've got commute distances, as
Where
we
do
know,
you
we're
come from,
distant
Peter?
learning, but
I come up by train from London.
Yeah.
But the I mean, the other thing.
your commuting when you come in is pretty.
Yeah, I come up from the
Isn't it?
southwest, so.
So if you're travelling for a long distance away, you can stay overnight the night before.
Yeah, that's important to
and be
mention.
able to stay here. And of course, the normal trustee meetings at the moment are held during working hours, during the days,
Yeah.
work days. But of course, things like the CC weekends is a whole weekend
Yeah.
here on campus or at the conference centre just next to campus. And you know, you're encouraged to be able to participate. So I mean, it
Yeah.
really is a good support to
Yeah,
get people
and actually,
involved.
next year's Board of Trustees may decide to have their meetings in a different way,
Yep.
or they might choose to have them at weekends or something, you know. And
Yeah.
I mean, I took part in the remuneration committee, and I did telephone. Well, I was on the telephone while some of them met, and
Yeah.
so you don't always have to be here for that.
Yeah, it's a wonderful world of 21st century technology. We can make a lot of things happen. The important thing is for the next board of trustees and CEC likely will make a lot of these decisions about how the meetings are going to
Yeah.
look for themselves. It
Yeah,
might be
it's
that
got to work for them.
this is it. It's a voluntary role
For
at the end
you.
of the day. You've got studying to balance with
Yes.
it. You might have employment, full-time or part-time, to balance with that. I mean, you're
Family
already taking a
commitments.
lot of family commitments. Thank you. It's rewarding, but it's challenge. Which brings us on to the elections coming up. What are they?
Yes.
Anyone want to field that, or am I going to go? Okay, I think I'm fielding that one. Elections coming up, so every 2 years the CEC and the Board of Trustees will be re-elected from within the student population by the student population. And this is make sure you go to the polling station, except the polling station comes to you because it's all online. So there's really no excuse. You need to vote. You do need to vote. I'm not just saying that because it's
Well,
that
first you
kind
need
of.
to stand, nominate yourself.
Well, yeah,
For a
true, yeah.
post.
Actually, yeah, first thing you need to do is decide whether you're interested in standing as a trustee or a member of the CEC, put together your nomination pitch, go through your questions from the student body, and hopefully build yourself a really strong case as to why we should vote for you next time. But then you do need to vote. You need to get involved and vote.
So if I wanted to know how to get more information about this, what would I do?
There are two things you could do. There's probably more than two things, to be honest. That was for dramatic.
Yeah, talk to us.
Dramatic sake. So yeah, talk to people if you see them around. You know, pull us to one side. That's a great way. Best way to start is go to the website www.oustudents.com/elections-2018. Second option for those of you that didn't catch that, didn't write it down, or because I spoke too fast, it was impossible to hear. Google it. Because it will just show up on
or
Google.
go to oustudents.com and there'll be a link on there.
Do that.
Or Facebook, of course.
Or that.
Yeah, or Twitter.
Or that.
Yeah.
And you can always call the association
Yes,
and speak to
gosh.
somebody and ask to, and I'd be quite happy to talk to anybody that wants to, either online or you know, put the association,
on
give
the
me
phone.
contact details, have a chat on the phone to explain what I've found within the role and answer questions. And I'm sure
Yeah.
you guys would be happy to take things online
Alright.
or you know.
Yeah.
So either look at the website or contact the association and ask for some
Yeah.
further information.
Okie doke.
That's it.
Right.
There we go.
Are we done?
I think that's
we've
it.
covered
Election
everything now,
process.
so
Nominate
good luck.
yourself.
Take
Nominate
part
yourselves.
and vote.
Vote.
And let's go and have some biscuits.
Biscuits.
Oh, God.
Right.
Jeez.